Hey guys, welcome back to Four Towers Films and doing something a little differently this week. I'm doing a weekly recap for Young and the Restless for this week. And it was a short one, but there was a lot that went on and it was pretty good. The JT storyline has, actually moved forward a bit, but now there could be something else or something new that's happening. The Kyle Lola summer storyline took a little bit of an unexpected turn because, there was Kyle actually admitted to what he did kind of easily. Usually these kind of things take a few months to go on, that soap story. But anyway, so we started on Monday and the women were at the cabin. They were as well, your Tuesday, our Monday here in Canada, or Friday actually, so it'll be on Monday. The women were brought to the cabin by Billy, Nick, and Ray, and they were actually surprised that Ray went along with this and thought this was actually pretty dangerous to do. They wanted to lure JT out to capture him and prove that he's alive and that they actually didn't kill him. And so Victoria was not really convinced that he was alive because, after they hit him in the head and buried him, and Nick basically said to them, well, maybe you didn't bury him as deep as you thought. You were like panicked after the whole thing that had happened, so it's possible that, you may not even have buried him that, like, too much dirt on him, and he may have dug himself up for all they knew. And Ray had left, and he called, wanted to talk to Sharon to make sure everything was okay, and apologized that he didn't believe her and that he really shouldn't have really jumped to that kind of conclusion and have them arrested for murder, because that's really what had happened. And instead of really investigating it, because you basically find out that the Nick and Billy finally told Ray the whole story of what had happened, with JT terrorizing them, like putting the poker in the ranch house by the fireplace and putting the bloody clothes, the bloody top that JT wasn't even wearing that night. And they finally actually said that on the show, that he actually wasn't even wearing that the night he was killed. So finally, we have a little bit of what the fans have been saying, that he wasn't even wearing that shirt the night that Nikki clobbered him. So that finally came out too. And plus, he wasn't even that bloody, so where did he get the blood from? And so all of that. So they finally, and Ray said to them, well, why didn't you tell me this ahead before? Which is basically what fans pretty much said. And, they said, well, would you really believed us? You're so, stuck on getting the women, or finding the killer and basically focus on Victor. And then, Ray agrees that that's kind of been the case, and he realizes his role in the whole thing. So Billy and Nick leave the cabin, the women are alone, and they're basically bickering back and forth, mostly to Sharon, and Victoria's worried that JT's out there, and they have a burner phone that the men have left them so that they can be in contact, or just in case something happens, JT shows up, they can call for help. And so they're basically saying, they're not sure they can trust Ray, and, Sharon thinks, he's putting his career on the line for us here, that's pretty substantial, probably trust him. And they're not that sure about that, so they kind of needle Sharon a little bit about that and how she's trusting him. So when the men leave, there's guards outside, and there are two of them, and they're walking around, and you periodically see them in the windows. And so during all this, so the women decide, like, they don't really want to be sitting ducks kind of thing, but they don't really want to be bait, but look, what more can they do? And Victoria wants to go outside, and Nikki's like, no, 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 we need to not be seen, and stay inside, lock the doors, that sort of thing. So they leave the cell phone on the table by the door leading outside to like the backyard or toward the lake. And then they decide to make dinner, and you see JT walk up to the door, and that's the first basic glimpse that we've seen that yes, he's actually alive. So then on Tuesday, we note um, Wednesday for you guys that it starts off again. The women are still worried about this, and they start hearing noises outside. And periodically, while they're talking, they're showing the women talking. JT's bashing the head of the guards outside, tying them up and stealing their clothes. At least one of the guards' clothes. So he's dressed now as a guard, and he's like hog-tied them and gagged them and that, and left them there. And so he's walking around, and the women are hearing noises outside the house, and so they're wondering what's going on. And so they realize, maybe, it might be the guards kind of thing at first, but it doesn't seem right. And for a while, they haven't seen the guards walk by. Like the whole time, they've been kind of seeing them walk back and forth through the windows. So then the lights go out, the power's cut to the cabin, and they try to call, but the cell phone doesn't have any reception. Now, Billy had said beforehand that the cabin gets kind of spotty reception up there, so they assume maybe that's the problem. And so they're like, okay, it's the only explanation for us JT is here, so we better arm ourselves. So they all each look for a weapon. Victoria goes into the kitchen, she gets a big butcher knife, and she's like, I got one. Sharon goes to the mantle and grabs like a pointy kind of Bosco statue head, and she's like, is this good? And Nikki's like, yeah, it's good. And she's looking around for a weapon, and the only thing she spots is a fireplace poker. She picks it up. I got mine. So they're looking around, and Victoria's getting kind of anxious and doesn't want to wait. They want to stay there and wait for something to happen for Faith to come in. So she hightails it to the back door, and Nikki's like, no, don't do that. She opens the door, and she's like, we're armed. We defended ourselves once before. We'll do it again. Come on out, kind of thing. More or less, we're not afraid of you. We have a gun, and it's one of you, four of us, basically. So there's no response. It's really quiet. They go back in, and JP's already in the house. And Victoria had noticed earlier that the cell phone was missing, and that's one of the things that tipped them off. And he bashed it, he broke it, and left it outside. So they have no way to call for help. And he has a gun on them. He tells them to drop their weapons, which they do. And the next thing is they're all tied up, their hands and feet are bound. And he's ranting and raving about, why'd you do this to me, kind of thing. Like, you didn't check to see if I was actually dead before you buried me, that I didn't have a pulse, kind of thing. And they're like, well, we thought you were dead. You tried to kill Victoria. And Nikki's like saying that I did what any parent would do, what any mother would do to protect their child. And so, of course, he's still angry, and he keeps holding on to his head like there's a problem with it. And like he's in pain. And he's waving the gun around. And Victoria tries to talk to him, saying, this isn't you, I wanted a family, I wanted us to get back together and, raise our kids and read and all that. And he's like, don't talk to me about Reed. He basically lied to him for months, saying that I was dead or had abandoned him. And making me look like a deadbeat, that I didn't care about my own son. And he's like, why don't you listen to me? That I knew what was right for us, and you just didn't want to listen. You wanted to go your own way. And Victoria's trying to placate him and basically saying that, you're right, I'm listening now. Let's talk about this. You don't have to do this. And he's like, it's too late. It's too late. And so they keep asking. I asked him about 3 times, how did you get out from being buried? And so he says that as the weight, this is under construction park, as the weight of the dirt came onto him, he was on top of like a water pipe or a drainage pipe, and it broke, and he fell into the pipe, and the water whooshed him out to the river, and he was unconscious. He woke up in the river. And if people remember, now the problem is the timing's going to be a little bit off. The fact that there was a water main break, and hence when Jill came back and they had the statue there, they had to remove it, and that's why really they went back on Halloween to dig up the body and move it, because the workers had to repair the pipe. Now you're talking a good few months difference between when they buried him to when this water main break happened. But I mean, if you kind of suspend a little bit of belief, perhaps maybe there was like a big enough hole for him to fall into, and that maybe it was slow moving water kind of thing, and that it just kind of caved in the rest of the land around it. So that's kind of what we're going to go with there. So there's, he gets really angry because he doesn't want to listen to Victoria, what she's saying anymore. So he picks up the fireplace poker, so it's bashing it against the fireplace and every knickknacks and table and all that. So by accident, really, he hits the on switch for the gas, and so now there's gas leaking into the cabin. And of course, the ladies are trying to say, come on, the gas, it's dangerous, we've got to get out of here, we need to get help. There's something wrong, with your head, and we can get you help. And he's like, you tried to kill me, you're not going to get me help. So he passes out, and the women are trying to get themselves free. They want to try to shut off the gas valve, but eventually they become overcome with it, which leads into Friday's episode, your Monday's episode. So some of this is going to be spoiler for you, or a day ahead. So Victoria passes out first, and Nikki tries to wake her up, but she becomes overcome and passes out. Sharon gets up. She tries to go and shut off the valve. She passes out on the floor. In the meantime, Billy had gone back to Victoria's house and continued up the charade of making calls to try to lure JT to the Dark Horse warehouse, because that was been their basic plan, is to get him to go to the Dark Horse warehouse, where they've got men posted there, but JT was on to them, of course. Been watching them for months, and so he knows everything that they've done up to this point. And so, as Billy's pretending to make another phone call to Nick, saying that they're going to get the women out of town, they've got the passports, all that, Phyllis shows up. And it's not really clear why she's there at the time, and he's got his coat on. He's going to be heading back up to the cabin. And she's wondering where he's going. And so he kind of says, I'm going to go out for groceries. And she's like, at this time of the night? And where's the kids? And he's like, well, they're at Jack's. And so she's kind of suspicious of what's going on. So he's going to kick her out. And she follows him anyway. And they show up at the cabin, and she follows him there. And she basically realizes what's going on, that they're the ones who broke the women out of prison, basically, and have them at the cabin. At the same time, Nick confronts Ray at the police station because he hasn't been returning his calls or texts. And Ray says, well, Christine was talking to me, so I kind of thought, talk to you then, why would I be talking to you? And in barges Victor. What do you do to find my wife, my daughter, and if anything happens to them, I completely blame you for it. And they take him into the interrogation room and fill him in on what's happened. And he thinks, why don't you tell me? This is really risky. It could be putting the women's lives in danger. And he's going to go with them to the cabin. So they all go. So they all show up. They meet outside the cabin. And they smell gas. And Victor's like, okay, well, be careful. There's gas. And I'll cover her very calmly, I might add. And go in. And they find that everybody passed out. And it's kind of like a montage the way they do it, that they pick up the women and drag JT out, and they're all unconscious. And during all this, Billy's doing CPR on Victoria, and the other two, Victor's holding on to Nikki in a chair. It's kind of awkward. And, rubbing her head. And Nick has Sharon propped up against a fence. And they're waiting for him to wake up. And everybody seems very calm, not very frantic. And Ray's calling for help. Yeah, we need an ambulance because we've got 4 people unconscious, gas leak. Everybody's very calm. And here's Billy doing chest compressions on Victoria. And, until Nikki wakes up. And then she's the only one who says, Victoria. So it was kind of odd in a way, that scene. It really kind of killed a little bit of the drama there that, didn't seem to be that frantic kind of thing. But other than that, it was pretty decent scene. So they're all woke up, and JT's alive, and they send him send him to the hospital. And they check the women out, and they go back to the police station. And so at the time, they fill Christine in on all that's happened. That JT is in fact alive, and that he's been doing this for months and trying to set up Victor and all this sort of thing. And so now that he's alive, there is no murder. So how can you charge him with murder? So she's like, look, I got to look into all this. So we'll put them in a holding cell for now until we look over everything. And so that basically kind of where we're picking up here with that story. So it looks like it's kind of going along, but now the women are also worried because Christine goes to JT's room and he's unconscious, but she's like, I guess, waiting for him to wake up, maybe take a statement. And the women are in a holding cell together, and they're worried that, there's something wrong. JT, there's something wrong with his head. Now, Victoria wonders if it's because of what they did to him, or, maybe there was something wrong with him all along. And I'm thinking that it's perhaps because the new writing regime is going to be coming in, and you're kind of starting to see a little bit of changes happening, that maybe, because a lot of people were not happy with what they did to JT's character, making an abuser, that perhaps they're going to swing it back around, and maybe he might have had like an illness, like maybe a brain tumor or something instead, like he's not an abuser kind of thing. So it kind of came out of nowhere. So it's possible maybe that's what they're going to do, and they'll explain all that. And so that way they can kind of redeem JT, and the women get off on the murder charges too, because it would be self-defense. But we'll see when the story progresses. But right now, there are women in that are worried of what JT could do, and so is Victor, because he could be predictable or unpredictable at this point. So, with Anna and Devon, it's kind of the same issue that they've been having with the money. They've kind of gotten past him checking every credit report, and that, again, they have a similar conversation that, about trust and all that sort of thing. And so she's leaving at the penthouse, and she tells Devon comes home, and she tells him that she has a meeting, and he's like, there's nothing on the schedule. And she's like, oh, it's a new artist that I found, and that I don't want them to meet you. They haven't earned a meeting with you yet. So I'm gonna go do that first. And he's like, oh, I appreciate your due diligence, basically. So as she's leaving, she has like a stack of cash in her purse that she's shoved in there. And she kind of brushes against a table, and her purse goes flying, and out all contents go everywhere. So Devon sees she's got the stack of cash and whatever else, but he pretends he doesn't notice, and he just says, "You okay?" And she goes, "Oh yeah." So she quickly shoves it back in her purse and out the door. So Devon follows her, and so she goes to like this motel, and this woman opens the door. She goes in, and Devon goes right after her, knocks on the door, and a woman answers and asks, "Can I help you?" And he says, "What about, I want to talk, like a woman just came in here." And she goes, "I don't know what you're talking about. You got the wrong room." And so, but he doesn't give up. He knocks again. She opens the door, and he's like, "My sister came in here, And Anna comes to the door, and she's like, "Well, what are you doing here?" He comes in, and the lady says, "Oh, so like you're Devon. They've heard a lot about you. My name's Elena." And then there's another gentleman in the room, whom Devon recognizes as a musician. And he's like, "Oh, it's an honor to meet you. And, why did you ever stop recording, basically?" So he finds out that he's been ill. And he's been having surgery and treatments of some sort. I don't think they ever really made it clear what illness he had, just that he's been ill. And so Anna tells him that that's what the money's been for, to help pay for the treatment for this gentleman. And Devon's like, "Well, that's great, but why did you feel the need to hide this from me? I don't really understand that." And Anna says, "This is her father." And Devon's kind of floored by that. And Anna says that she's been looking for him for a while, and then she found him, and they've connected. And Devon's kind of suspicious at first, the fact of why they hid this from him, and like it's kind of convenient that he needs money. And she goes, "No, it's not like that. It's my idea, and that's why we didn't want to say anything to you, and I didn't want you to give me money. I wanted to earn it," kind of thing. It's not about that. Like, she wanted to help him, kind of thing. He didn't ask for that. And Elena is his nurse. And so Devon, I don't know, seems still kind of, which I guess makes sense, because he just met him, and he doesn't know how long Anna's really known him, and if they can really trust him about if he's actually there for the money or not. So, but Elena's face, he wants to talk to him more, and he questions him a little more, but honestly, I really, this isn't any of your business. Kind of, I understand you're looking out for me, but this is kind of our relationship, and Devon understands, because he also went looking for his real dad and his real family, and so he gets why she'd want to. But I guess he's also kind of suspicious of it, just because of who he is and what she has access to. So he's looking out for her too. And so Elena basically tells them that, he's tired, so you'll have to come back another time, which they do. So that'll be interesting to see how that story is going to evolve over time. And is he really there just for the money? All that sort of thing. So that'll be interesting as that story goes along. With the Abby, with Lola, Summer and Kyle. The day after the wedding, they're waking up after making love. And Kyle's kind of coyote uglying himself outside out the door. He's got his shoes in his hands and stuff. And Summer wakes up. And she's like, I thought we'd have a nice romantic morning. Because we had a nice romantic night. And he's like, well, I want to see what's happening at the hospital. Everything's set. And so she's nervous about it, and they talk about it, and he tries to alleviate her fears. Again, she's basically worried that he's not going to be there, that he's going to be with Lola instead. He's going to, like, run out on her. And he assures her that's not the case. He'll be there for her, of course. So they head to the hospital, and Summer's incognito. She's got a baseball cap on, dark sunglasses on, like nobody would recognize her. On Kyle's arm after they just got married. Okay. So Nate meets them and brings them into the room that she's going to be staying in before the surgery. And so he's going to go over the procedure of the surgery. And she's like, no, I don't want to hear about that. I already read it online. It's a big mistake. Kind of freaked her out. She doesn't want to hear any more about that. She's more of an impulsive, just, fly by the seat of her pants kind of thing. So she doesn't want to hear, and in graphic detail, what to expect. And so he's like, okay, well, crap, because the surgery will be pretty soon. And again, she worries, to Kyle, and she worries about what will happen if she dies. And he's like, don't, you can't think like that. You're going to be just fine. And Lola is talking with Ray and Arturo, and they basically assure her of the same thing, that she's going to be just fine. She wonders where Kyle has been, because he hasn't been to see her since, like, he left, about a day or so ago ahead of him. He hasn't come back to see her. So the surgery happens, and they're all waiting in the waiting room. Ray shows up, and he's distracted. And Arturo and Abby is there, and Kyle comes. She wants to be there for Lola, make sure she's okay. And the brothers aren't too happy with him being there, but he's like, I'm not going to leave because I need to know Lola's going to be fine. And Abby is not buying any of this, so, like, if she knows, he didn't marry Summer because he loves her. He married Summer because she was the donor, and she tries to get him to confess that. Of course, he doesn't. He's insisting that, oh no, this is a love relationship, and we're a better match, and it just took him a long time to realize it, and all this kind of stuff. Abby's not buying it at all. And even Arturo comes over and questions him, basically says, well, is this true? Is Summer the donor? But of course, he denies it, and Arturo's like, okay, fine, you're not the kind of the good person that you might be, or I thought you might be. You're just a jerk kind of thing. You hurt my sister's feelings. So surgery's over, and Nate comes in and says that Lola is doing fine, doing well so far, and everybody's happy about that. And as he leaves, Kyle asks about Summer, and he said Summer's surgery didn't go as well as Lola's did. But we do find out later on that she is actually recovering. She is going to be okay. And she's woken up. And then Lola's woken up and recovering, and both Ray and Arturo are there to see her. And she's asking where Kyle is, because she hasn't seen him. She'd like to see him, and she doesn't know why he hasn't been there. And so Kyle does come in to see him after he kept his promise to Summer that he'd be there when she woke up. And then Summer went back to sleep, so he made his way down to Lola's room. And so he sits with Lola, and she's like, you can kiss me, I don't have the plague. And he's like, there's something I have to tell you. And he proceeds to fill her in that he married Summer, and he married her to save her life. Basically that, yes, Summer's a good person, and she did want to be there and help out Lola, but more or less she needed an incentive to do so, so he married her, but he still loves Lola. Lola out and out asked him, did you sleep with her? And he didn't say it outright, but he basically admitted that he did. So Lola starts to cry, and she said, she'll always be grateful to both Summer and him for saving her life. but he needs to go now. And so they both leave. And so we'll see how that storyline, I don't know. I have a feeling that Summer, I think, is going to end up pregnant from that one night stand or something. I don't know. You know how soaps are. So, because they're going to be in each other's orbit longer. You know how it is. Stories drag out forever. Look at the day two storyline. It's still going on almost a year later. It's less than a month. It'll be a year. And then so Mariah comes and talks to Kyle too, and she's actually the one who convinced him to tell Summer or to tell Lola and not wait until she got better, because she said it's better that it comes from you anyway than she hears from somebody else. And that's really why he did it. And so Mariah went to go see Summer, and Summer's like, oh, okay, I don't want to hear your hate, whatever else right now. Like, I'm not up to it. And Mariah's like, no hate. That's not what this is about. And she basically says to her, I don't even hate you. I feel sorry for you. Well, I can't blame her. You really had to blackmail a guy into marrying you, And she shouldn't have to. She's pretty and she's smart, kind of thing, wealthy, so she really shouldn't have to blackmail a guy into marrying her. So then, the last story for this week that YNR followed was Carrie and Jack, with this mysterious whatever Carrie's up to. Carrie went to see Kyle or Jack at the mansion, and he was looking after the kids, and just showing how much fun it is to have kids around. He had a fort that he made in the living room, and Carrie went with him to fly a kite with the kids, and it just kind of brought out Jack's childhood side, I guess, more fun. It let him relax to be with the kids, because he says he doesn't really get to do that much. And Carrie, it seemed to me that maybe part of her still has you get the manipulative thing that you've been seeing from her, but it's also kind of maybe seeing this side of him. She might be softening a little bit, maybe, toward Jack, but it still seems like she hasn't accepted the contract that he's offered her, because he asked her about that again, and she's like, my attorney's still looking it over, because they met later on for drinks. They hadn't heard yet that the women were found, and that hit the news. They're being classified as fugitives, and they just had a good time going back and forth. And he basically said to her, about the offer once they take Jabot back, and she said, my attorney's looking it over, so it makes you wonder about that. And she gets a call from PC again, which he hangs up, and he says that a suitor, and she says, no, you're the only, you have no worries there. And he goes, oh, is it another company trying to take you away? And she kind of, her face falls, kind of thing. And so he thinks he's hit a nerve there. But then he leaves to go back, because Tracy calls that Dean is having an episode, so he goes home. And Phyllis shows up after they've found the women. They've brought them to the police station. And there's a letter that was dropped off at Jabot, and with a name on it. And Phyllis asks who it is. And she goes, oh, it's an intern that she's hired. And Phyllis like, you hired an intern without consulting me? And she's like, well, it's an unpaid position, and I didn't think you were a micromanager. And Phyllis says, no. But, they're going to have access to proprietary knowledge in the lab. And Carrie's like, well, it sounds like you don't trust me. And Phyllis says, no, I trust you. It's just, like being the CEO, she should be consulted about stuff like that. So they basically work it out, and Phyllis leaves. And Carrie looks at the envelope and texts PC that the final paperwork is in, they're all set. So it's going to be interesting to find out one who PC is. A lot of people think it's Ashley. It might be. Um, I don't know. Well, I guess it would make a fairly good story if it is. And what these final documents are. Is it like a full takeover of Jabot, or maybe if it is Ashley, is she reintegrating maybe the products, or like maybe it's a positive thing on that part? Maybe it's kind of hyped up about this whole thing. Guess we'll find out later on about what that is. So Jack goes back to the house, and Tracy's there, and she said that, she's been talking about Ashley, missing Ashley. And Dina comes in, she's asking where Ashley is, and they tell her Ashley's in Paris, and she's an adult now, and that they don't know if she's coming back. And Dina says she misses her, and Jack says he misses her too. And Tracy and Jack, once Dina leaves the room, talk about that they still get glimpses of their mom, but it's becoming few and far between. And they talk about Ashley. Jack brings up the fact that Ashley wouldn't have been able to kind of do this to Jabot if it hadn't been for Dina. And Tracy's like, that was business. That wasn't personal. He goes, it was very personal. And he goes, but he realizes, yeah, it's partially his fault why that even happened in the first place. So it should be interesting to see what happens there, if you read any kind of spoilers, and, what might be coming up next week on the show. So it looks like it was a good week. It was a short week this week because of March Madness, but some of the storylines moved along, which is nice. I just found it hilarious when they found the women and nobody was all that panicked about it. Here's Victoria, like, not breathing, and Billy's doing chest compressions, and everybody's like Lottie dying. I just found it really funny. So if you haven't watched that yet, that'll be your Monday. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, thanks for watching. That is this week for Young the Restless, the highlights and a bit of commentary about it. I hope you liked it. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification buttons up here somewhere. Or if you're on mobile, it's probably down here somewhere. And so you know when I upload Y&R Recap. Now will be weekly every Friday. So come and join me and let me know, what do you think of what's going on in storyline? Who do you think PC is? Do you think JT is still going to go after the women? Is the storyline ever going to end? See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.